Put on Raiders podcast, Dwayne Douglas here, doing a little short. I kind of sprinkled these in during the week. The Raiders, 3-4. Looking pretty putrid offensively, looking really bad. And I was thinking about because I was seeing a lot of articles about Josh McDaniels is not the guy, and Josh McDaniels, the Raiders should move on from Josh McDaniels. And I think when you look at that part of it, it's a distinct possibility, right? He has not performed well. He has not been this offense has not done a good job of moving the football and scoring points and all those things like that. The way he handles press conferences, all those things. But I do think one thing that we're missing here too is like you hear names like Ben Johnson, Shane Waldron, like all these other names that are out there. And yes, somebody would take the job if Josh McDaniels got fired, but is this job really desirable? Like that's one thing you got to say. Like when you look at the roster composition, depending on where they are in the draft, like this might not be, a great job for somebody who if you're a head coach and you're a candidate, if you're an OC and you're a candidate, if you're a DC and a candidate, like this might be your only chance to be a head coach. So do you want to risk it on the Raiders? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, if you go to Chicago, the division is in flux, and you could possibly have the first pick and the second pick in the draft, where that could be Drake May, Caleb Williams, etc., and then Marvin Harrison Jr. Like along with DJ Moore. Like there's a lot of opportunities other places, and who knows? Like like who knows what jobs will open up? There's always some surprises that open up as well. What if the Chargers job opens up? Because they've continued to underachieve this year. Is that a better job than the Raiders? I would probably have to say, yeah. It is like that team's ready made to win right now. So, just something to think about. Like they're making a mess that is a mess where you can maybe only fix it with a 3 or 4 year plan where you're going to have to kind of blow everything up and just kind of watch maybe Max Crosby just sit in this malaise of just poor football. So yes, they got rid of Carr, yes, they got rid of all these guys. They weren't, some of these guys weren't performing, some of these guys were whatever, but like they took over a team that did make the playoffs. However they made the playoffs, they made the playoffs, and they made the playoffs as one of the top wild card teams, so they made the playoffs. The conversation they kind of should have had was, hey, we should blow it up in year one. They didn't blow it up in year one. They ended up signing all these guys, doing all this stuff, and Chandler Jones was a mistake. I mean, Jacoby Myers has probably been the only bright spot for this team, the only win that this team has had. So it's a tough situation. What they're doing now is they're trying to win. I guess they're trying to win. I mean, I don't know how you try to win when you don't score 20 points a game. You don't have probably the only team in football. I think that hasn't rushed for over 100 yards. Like, I'm not sure what brand of football they're trying to play. There's no identity to this team. But just thinking about that part of it is really a tough spot here because this job might not be a desirable one in any fashion, where you might have to, just get somebody who's completely inexperienced or completely, past their prime just to take the job. It might be, sending vibes of like, Art Shell Part Two. Like, who knows? Right. Let's hope not, Raider Nation. Let's hope not. But I'm just, we gotta be real on this show. This is not probably a top job. Um, when you look at the roster construction, and it all depends on where that pick is. Because if the draft pick is high, then it's a little bit better. But if it's going to be in the teens, or it's going to be in the 10th pick in the draft, where you have to mortgage your entire future to go get a guy, that might not be the best thing for them. That might be the only option for this team in order um to get good again. So we'll see what happens.